Part IV. Propositions 46 to 50 of the Ethics by Spinoza. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Diana Meilinger. The Ethics by Benedict de Spinoza. Translated by R. H. M. Alves. Part IV. Propositions 46 to 50. Proposition 46. He who lives under the guidance of reason endeavors, as far as possible, to render back love or kindness for other men's hatred, anger, contempt, etc. towards him. Proof. All emotions of hatred are bad. Part IV. Proposition 45, Corollary 1. Therefore, he who lives under the guidance of reason will endeavor, as far as possible, to avoid being assailed by such emotions. Part IV. Proposition 19. Consequently, he will also endeavor to prevent others being so assailed. Part IV. Proposition 37. But hatred is increased by being reciprocated, and can be quenched by love. Part III. Proposition 43. So that hatred may pass into love. Part III. Proposition 44. Therefore, he who lives under the guidance of reason will endeavor to repay hatred with love, that is, with kindness. Q.E.D. Note. He who chooses to avenge words with hatred is assuredly wretched, but he who strives to conquer hatred with love fights his battle in joy and confidence. He withstands many as easily as one, and has very little need of fortune's aid. Those whom he vanquishes yield joyfully, not through failure, but through increase in their powers. All these consequences follow so plainly from the mere definitions of love and understanding, that I have no need to prove them in detail. Proposition 47. Emotions of hope and fear cannot be in themselves good. Proof. Emotions of hope and fear cannot exist without pain. For fear is pain. Definition of the emotions, 13. And hope, definition of the emotions, explanation 12 and 13. Cannot exist without fear. Therefore, Part IV. Proposition 41. These emotions cannot be good in themselves, but only in so far as they can restrain excessive pleasure. Part IV. Proposition 43. Q.E.D. Note. We may add that these emotions show defective knowledge and an absence of power in the mind. For the same reason confidence, despair, joy, and disappointment are signs of a want of mental power. For although confidence and joy are pleasurable emotions, they nevertheless imply a preceding pain, namely, hope and fear. Wherefore the more we endeavour to be guided by reason, the less do we depend on hope. We endeavour to free ourselves from fear, and, as far as we can, to dominate fortune, directing our actions by the sure counsels of wisdom. Proposition 48. The emotions of over-esteem and disparagement are always bad. Proof. These emotions, see definition of the emotions, 21 and 22, are repugnant to reason, and are therefore, Part IV, Propositions 26 and 27, bad. Q.E.D. Proposition 49. Over-esteem is apt to render its object proud. Proof. If we see that any one rates us too highly, for love's sake, we are apt to become elated. Part III. Proposition 41. Or to be pleasurably affected. Definition of the emotions, 30. The good which we hear of ourselves we readily believe. Part III. Proposition 25. And therefore, for love's sake, rate ourselves too highly. In other words, we are apt to become proud. Q.E.D. Proposition 50. Pity, in a man who lives under the guidance of reason, is in itself bad and useless. Proof. Pity, definition of the emotions, 18, is a pain, and therefore, Part IV, Proposition 41, is in itself bad. The good effect which follows, namely, our endeavour to free the object of our pity from misery, is an action which we desire to do solely at the dictation of reason (IV. xxxvii.). Only at the dictation of reason are we able to perform any action, which we know for certain to be good (IV. xxvii.). Thus, in a man who lives under the guidance of reason, pity in itself is useless and bad. Q.E.D. Note. He who rightly realizes that all things follow from the necessity of the divine nature, and come to pass in accordance with the eternal laws and rules of nature, will not find anything worthy of hatred, derision, or contempt, nor will he bestow pity on anything, but to the utmost extent of human virtue he will endeavor to do well, as the saying is, and to rejoice. We may add that he who is easily touched with compassion, and is moved by another's sorrow or tears, often does something which he afterwards regrets, partly because we can never be sure that an action caused by emotion is good, partly because we are easily deceived by false tears. I am in this place expressly speaking of a man living under the guidance of reason. He who is moved to help others neither by reason nor by compassion, is rightly styled inhuman, for (III. xxvii.) he seems unlike a man. End of Part IV. Propositions 46 to 50.